Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and welcome to the Choking Hazard Podcast Christmas special. It's week 68. We're here, we got GTA updates to talk about, we got GTA Definitive Editions to talk about, we got new rooms to talk about, we got controversies to talk about, and it's been 2 months since the last time that we were here. So there's a lot to pack in. As usual, got my co-hosts over there, Sugar Free Nos. That was a muted wave.
Yeah, hello.
RDT's down there. That was another muted wave. Can you guys get with the picture? Come on. I mean, it's the Christmas special.
It's a holly jolly Christmas.
Josh is over there.
Yay.
And MB Hammer is in the airwaves, in the booth.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the show!
There we go. That's the most excited I think I've ever heard you be. So Josh has a bad throat. So we're going to go through as long as we can, and maybe towards the end we'll have to speak for him. I'm sure we can do that. We know what he thinks really about things now. Yeah. So, I mean, should we do like a traditional start to a podcast and talk about a GTA DLC?
Update. Yeah.
Update.
Why not?
DLC, a piece of downloadable content.
Okay, all right. I
had to download it, and it is content.
If I wasn't in pain, I would fight you.
Yeah, just take it today. We'll talk about it next time.
Yes, we can beat them today. It's only what, 4 days old. This is the 4th day of 4 very busy days for me. So I'm right on the edge of losing my mind. Had to retest a lot of the tuners this morning, all the tuner cars, because they've been nerfed. But apart from that, have any of you actually played the update?
Yeah, I've played a little bit of it.
And what are your thoughts?
I played one little mission.
Just one? Just like the start mission?
Yeah, like a asset collection or something like that. That paid $48,000.
Okay, so you didn't like go and meet Dr. Dre and all that kind of stuff, like.
Have not gone that far. No, I was appalled by the payout and that you had to do in a public lobby, and that there's a cooldown on a $48,000 mission in 2021. So I was like, you know what, this is fine. I'm just not going to play this.
Okay. I mean, actually, there's an update on that Rockstar have changed it so you can do it in invite-only sessions now.
Oh, beautiful.
That was supposedly a bug. It wasn't a bug, but they probably just saw that people weren't happy about it. I almost didn't want to continue because of that as well. Like, it makes no sense that they've progressed so good in terms of like Cayo Perico you can do in an invite-only session, and I think is it casino heist preps and things like that. But then and then they go for public session only with this. But they've fixed it, so that's good. Nos, what are your thoughts?
Why is the motorcycle on the bottom level of the agency garage? Why? Why is why? Why is it there? Why are there 9 slots and then 1 on the top? Why? It doesn't make any sense. I can't organize the garages the way I need to because of the stupid motorcycle. I'm upset.
Is that the whole DLC broken for you at that point?
I mean, yes, it's terrible. It makes me angry. What? How do you have 9 cars that match the theme? You either have 8 or 10. You don't have 9.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, when I first saw that, I was like, okay, why? Like, it made no sense. But I didn't get quite as animated as you. But now thinking, it was when I like put that garage in the spreadsheet for all my garages. And I realized I had to divide it up with 1 slot and then 10 slots and then 9 slots. And yeah, that's when it got me. And I thought, that makes no sense.
Lamar says sometimes it's Lamar's Emperor there. Oh, that would be way better. I wish it was just Lamar's Emperor all the time. I could work with Lamar's Emperor, okay? but I can't work with a stupid motorcycle.
Yeah, you want a garage full of like SUVs and you've just got this one motorcycle on the bottom level or something.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
And it could have easily gone up the top level. Like just switch out the top level spot, put the bike there, and then you have your free spot and 10 spots at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know why there's the one slot on the top, because that's supposed to be like everybody's personal vehicle, when they come in.
Yeah, like you're the boss next to Franklin's car and stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like they should have done it in the capacity like the bunker. You know what I mean? Like, you can drive into your bunker, and there's like one slot specifically for your car in the bunker. That's what I would have done personally. But did you not know that you could do that to the bunker?
I knew that you could drive your car in, but when you say there's a spot specifically for your car, that's not to store it, right?
No, it's not to store it. It's just to pull it in. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would have worked. I mean, to be fair, it's such a small grievance, but it is
small
really
grievance.
Annoying. Yeah, like in the great scheme of things, but it is really annoying.
Yeah, and it's just hard to like, and I think part of the problem is like I actually don't have enough vehicles anymore to like I don't want any more.
I'm reaching that point as well, actually.
Like I finally and I've still got like 20 free slots. Like I just don't want any more cars. Like I have a 2-car and a 6-car garage, and I still don't have everything full.
Do you want to know how many are the maximum slots that you can have now? Because I just worked it out. I updated the vehicle costs spreadsheet yesterday.
Yes, how many?
Not including. This is not including the motorcycle clubhouse, which is only for motorcycles, or like arena slots that are only for the Cerberus or something. These are garage slots that you can put anything in. 256.
Nice. So 256 plus 10 motorcycles, and then plus all of the slots that are only for one vehicle.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's great. I love it. I like it a lot. No, it's not too much.
That's too much. Okay. It is promoting sales to just sell more shark cards. That's the only reason. They're not doing it because they want people to have more space for cars. They just want people to buy shark cards.
Well, that was the thing that like I was saying early on in the days of GTA Online. Like when we were wanting more garage space, when we only had like 10, 20, 30 car garages for a long time before we kept getting updates, it was like, well, why don't they just give us more? It incentivizes people to buy more shark cards, to buy more cars. And here we are on the other end of it, where we've got like almost too many at this point.
260 slots.
It's a lot. But it's good. It gives people the choice, I suppose. It gives people the freedom.
I like it personally because that's the most fun thing to me is collecting and borderline OCD, like organizing the cars into themes. Like I like it. It's how I have fun. So
yeah. So in terms of like, have you done anything in the missions? Either of you? Like I know RDT had done the first bit. You haven't either.
No.
Josh, have you done anything on the new GTA 5 DLC?
I watched you get excited that some single-player characters that I also don't know who are in the game. That was nice. There was a dog, and you were excited about it, and I was like, "Oh, good."
You don't know Chop? You don't know Chop?
You get to pet Chop. That's the best thing about the DLC.
The game in like 10. The game's like 10 years old, guys. Like,
and you get RP for petting Chop.
Yeah, so you do.
That's good.
I will say that the new DLC made me laugh at something in GTA for like the first time in 15 years. When Lamar came in to the office on that first mission, it was a great line.
Yeah, to be fair, like I've only played the first couple of missions, but the interplay between Lamar and Franklin, I thought has been really good. Like already. Like,
what did he say? He said socially inappropriate racial epithets or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
That was funny.
And then the second cutscene after that, after you meet Dr. Dre, is pretty funny as well. And it's like they say something, and Franklin Lamar is like being obnoxious and having a go at Franklin because of something Chop did. And Franklin just goes, "Well, sue him, like sue Chop." And it's just, like they've really done well with that. Like that's one of the best things, I think, of the new DLC. The fact that it all had to be done in a public session really brought it down, but now that they've fixed that, I think that's good. I don't know what the replayability of it is like. I don't think the profitability of it is like anything on Cayo Perico levels, but you know, it's kind of it's story content, and I know it's in GTA Online, but at least it's some, you know, story content, and we get some like Easter eggs into the other characters, and you get to see how Franklin and Lamar are doing and being successful, and it's got a good feeling to it, I think. So that's good. But
why don't they just do the single player DLC?
Well, yeah, it would be much better as a single player DLC. Yeah. Maybe like focusing on all three of the characters and how they're doing 10 years on or something like that. But hey, what can you do?
Better than just some other random crap characters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. All the other characters GT Online has added has been just kind of, in my opinion.
But yeah, supposedly you can play as Franklin or Lamar at the end of it. Like there's some sort of extra bonus missions where you play as Franklin, and if you've got somebody with you, he plays as Lamar. As part of GT Online, which is kind of crazy.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, talking about those characters, every time I go on, because I just got so bored with like all of the past DLCs at a certain point.
Yeah.
I get a call from Lesser that says like, Aiden, love the job we did. Let's do the next one. I'm like, stop. I get a call from the casino lady. She's like, hi, can we talk? I'm like, shut up. I just want to drive a car for 2 minutes without getting a phone call.
And the last two characters, especially with the Tuna DLC, those two knobheads.
Oh my god, those are the worst characters ever.
We've gone from the worst characters ever to like some good characters. You know, they talk you up as well, Lamar and Franklin. Like it's like, oh yeah, they realize, you know, you've done a load of stuff in the game and you think you're a big shot now. Good for you, and stuff like that.
Lamar picked you up at the airport, bro. He was there.
You've seen where you've come. Yeah.
Yeah, October 1st, 2013.
That's it.
Lamar was there.
I liked the characters in the last DLC. I thought they were funny as fuck.
Oh, I hated them. They grated on me so much.
God, they're awful. They're awful.
I liked Pablo.
Yeah, that's what I love about them. They're hilariously horrible.
How terrible they are.
Yeah, they're great. Like I think their script writing was actually really quite funny, and like it's a complete like both the last DLC and this DLC both have much better script writing than any of the previous DLCs, even though there wasn't that much scriptage in the last DLC. But I think they're maybe you know hitting a running stride, if you like, with the script writing a little bit more now.
I mean, it feels like they've sort of dabbled with story aspects to a lot of the DLCs over the years, and like there was those sort of casino story missions and the yacht story missions and stuff, but they were all fairly short and nothing substantial. And then I guess we get the blend between like online and story is disappearing a little bit with Franklin and stuff coming back, especially with the way that this feels more like a story and with proper cutscenes and everything like that. Like I said it years ago, I wouldn't be surprised if GTA 6 was just like some sort of mash of an online version and you play the story as an online character or something like that. Wouldn't surprise 76. Me. Say again?
Fallout 76.
Yeah. So who knows? But on the point of annoying things to, you know, seemingly small things to be annoyed about, did anybody see the stuff about the Ardent?
No.
So
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
I still have one. Do I need to get rid of it?
Well, no. You know how you can never. The Ardent is a sports classic car, and it's right on the top pace of the Turismo Classic, the Cheetah Classic, the Rapid GT Classic. But because it's got two little piddly guns on it, you're not allowed to use it in races.
Yes.
It came with the gun running DLC, and then they've added cars after that have guns on them, but they're just disabled in races and you can use them. So it's always been this thing that there's always been this car that is so good and really nice to drive and right on the top pace of sports classics. So we would just give more balance to sports classic races. And we've never been able to use it, even though there's other weaponized vehicles that we can use.
Oh, wait, hold on. Can I guess what's about to happen?
What's about to happen?
Can I guess?
Go on.
Can you use it in sports races but not sports classics?
No, you're close to, like, you got the right idea. Let's put it that way. So we were all really excited about this because we looked in the creator. Someone found it in the creator, you know, how you go to available vehicles and you can choose what's available for a race. And the Ardent was there in sports classics. So was the JB700W. The Night Shark in off-roads, that was available to use in races. And there was something else as well. Anyway, it was inconsequential. It was the Ardent that is the main one. So it was like 10 minutes of jubilation. They've finally, after like 5 years since gun running, made the Ardent available in races. Paragon R armored, yes. And 10 minutes later, someone found out and realized and posted in the chat that it's only the stock version that's available in races. If you have a custom version, you can't use it. So rendering it completely useless because the stock version obviously isn't on the pace of the top sports classics. So
that's just classic Rockstar. They go 99% of the way to solving a problem and then don't at the end.
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah.
So that was lovely. Thanks, Rockstar, for that. It was 10 minutes of jubilation and then right back down. If they'd not enabled it whatsoever, we would have been in a better position mentally than if they were enabled it halfway and then taken it away from us.
Our emotional pain is immeasurable.
I don't know.
They try really hard to make it so that the 1% is ruined.
Yeah,
it's just like in all of in all the story missions for like Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5, they spent so much developer time making it so that if you walk too far away from this person, the mission fails, and if you do all this other stuff, that takes more effort than just not doing that. But they do it, and it's just insane that they always had this track record.
Such a shame. Such a shame. We were so close. Maybe it gives hope that it was just someone overlooked it and they only made it available for stock and it was just a little thing that they can fix or something. But
yeah, just wait another 5 years.
Yeah, we'll at least have to wait till the next DLC, or maybe expanded and enhanced. I don't know, but that's probably going to be a train wreck. Let's be honest. If the definitive editions are anything to go by, look at that segue. We talked about the definitive editions in the last podcast, and basically, if you want, but if you want the story of what happened with the definitive editions, you just need to go to the last podcast and listen to us talking about what will probably happen, and it pretty much all happened. Apart from, what was the thing? Because Josh, you got like everything right in your predictions, apart from like one thing or something. What was it?
Two things I was wrong about. Okay. So the first thing I was wrong about, the GPS function. Do you remember when I said, how the hell would they program the GPS?
That was all me, baby. I said that was going to be a thing, and Josh was like, nope.
Yeah, it actually is. They did what I said, and they used AI pathing for it, so it's kind of terrible. But it's still like...
Yeah, what does that exactly mean? Like, how did they do that?
So, like, the way AI works in the games is... I'm going to simplify it because my throat hurts. It's like they're on like... There's like invisible collision things like on the roads, right? And they hit one collision thing. When they hit it, it tells them, hey, this are the other possible collision things you can go to next. So if they come to like a intersection and they can go left, forwards, or right, the sphere will have like the data of the spear on the left, the spear in front of them, and spear to the right, and they'll pick one at random and go like. And you can like, it's complicated with like how nav measures and stuff work, but using that you can create a chain to get to where you need to go.
Okay.
They do that, and the way it works is it's like it goes from like where you are to the closest like AI node, and then it'll go all the way to there. And then it'll go to the closest AI node, and then it just draws a straight line to the marker. So it doesn't take very good routes, but it's still, I'm actually impressed they added it. It was actually, unironically, a good feature to add for people that don't know the map.
Yeah.
The other thing I was wrong about, do you remember I was saying that they just enabled the cheat code for the drive-by shooting in SA?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it just isn't in the game. They just lied. There is no feature.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's just up there in the first
It just
place.
doesn't exist. I don't know what they're talking about. Because
Yeah.
you can like on PC, if you know in the originals you had to like, you had to hold look left or look right, and then your character would lean out the appropriate window, and then you could shoot.
Yeah.
Well, now if you just rotate your camera in a direction and then left and then shoot, they'll shoot the way you're looking, right? Like either full left or full right. And that happens in all free games. But I need to go on the store page to see what they wrote. Maybe they changed it. But yeah, they said there was going to be for San Andreas specifically. There was a thing, wasn't there? Where's the?
They said you were gonna have free aim, right? In the car.
Yeah, they said specifically.
Yeah, I think it was enhanced drive-by controls.
Yeah,
right?
with upgraded drive-by controls in GTA San Andreas. It's like I still have no idea what they're talking about, and I've played the game a lot, right? I don't know what they're talking about. So
it looks exactly the same.
Yeah, so that just isn't in the game. So I was wrong. It wasn't even they were just activating a cheat code all the time. They just didn't do anything. So my bad.
And then there were like because I don't think any of us predicted that it would actually be the mobile ports that the widely panned and terrible mobile ports from the 10th anniversary. Was it the 10th anniversary of the games? That it was the same studio that made them, and they've just taken those mobile ports and then made them into the definitive editions, and all the problems that the mobile ports had carried over to the definitive editions too, in addition to all the new stuff that has been widely covered on YouTube videos and stuff. Like absolute train wrecks of games. It's insane. Some of the things I've seen on videos with the rain and like it's so bad.
Yeah, because I was one of the first people to get towards the end of the game. There's like a clip of me in Vertical Birds, which is like one of the last missions. Where you like spawn and you're right next to the ocean, and there's a boat you're supposed to get in, but it's raining, scripted, and it just looked terrible. That clip of me went like everywhere. It was on like the H3 podcast or whatever.
I saw that. Yeah,
because I was the only person. Like, the game was like 3 hours released, right, and I was already at the end.
Yeah.
So subtle flex.
Yeah. It was just like, but yeah, so from my perspective of so my reviews of the games, I've played all of them. GTA 3 is the best because it had the least stuff for them to mess up, and the most improvements for them to add because it had the least stuff, right? Like just having mouse look or free look in vehicles in that game is like a big win.
Yeah.
So that's so GTA 3 is actually pretty good. And in version 1.0, they accidentally added a speedrun glitch as well, where if you switch weapons repeatedly between fists and pistol, you teleport, you move really fast. So that's cool. They patched it out immediately, but you just play the old versions. Vice City is also kind of fine, but the problem with Vice City is that it has helicopters. And the helicopter controls, I don't know how many people are into aviation, but in a helicopter you have up, down, you have like lean left and lean right, and then you have like rotate left and rotate right. Well, you can't rotate left and rotate right. The controls just don't exist to do that.
What?
You can only lean. You can only lean, yeah.
Oh my god.
So that's kind of...
Wow. But that was, I mean, why have those been removed? That's strange.
I don't know. It just doesn't exist. Oh, and the dodo controls in GTA 3 are also removed, so you can't fly that properly. Oh, sorry. I'm speaking. Sorry, keyboard and mouse. I think with controller you can do the things I'm saying. Sorry, but on keyboard and mouse you can't do. You can't control the dodo in 3, and you can't control the helicopter in Vice City. But obviously the helicopter is supposed to be flown in Vice City. But then in San Andreas, so it's really weird when I'm doing like runs of it, because of course I am, because it's the new hotness. I actually enjoy the game until I get to Los Venturas, and then flight school happens, and then I just want to die. Because the biggest problem, again, this is a PC problem, the biggest problem is that accelerate is bound to W, which makes sense. But if I say what does accelerate mean in a car? It means you go forwards, right? What does accelerate in a plane mean? it means you go forwards. What does accelerate in a helicopter mean?
Up.
Right. What have they bound it to?
Lean forward.
Lean
right?
forwards. Instead, to go up in a helicopter, it's left click, and to go down, it's right click.
Now, I have the couple of times I've played games that like I have to fly on keyboard. I do use like shift for up and control for down, and then Q and E goes this way, and then W, A, S, and D. So, but maybe I'm weird. I don't know.
That's not too bad. I'm getting worse. Hang on. But anyway, if I want classic controls where W accelerate in a helicopter means to go up, you can't, because if I unbind that, I have to accelerate in cars with like whatever button I bound it to, right? Like it's not going to work. The worst thing of all is Jetpack uses helicopter controls. So it's left click to go up and right click to go down in Jetpack. What's the problem?
How do you shoot?
Left and right click.
So is it simultaneous?
Yeah. If you go up, you shoot. If you aim with a gun, you go down.
Nice.
Very bad. And again,
sounds like it's like running fine. That's how I would have designed it.
If I want to rebind these things, it's really awkward because if I change one thing, I change everything.
There's no like separate controls for each vehicle type or anything like that.
Yeah. And they've also... And what's more confusing is the Hydra. You know, the Hydra can either be a plane or a helicopter in like hover mode. That uses the correct controls. When you're in hover mode in a Hydra, W is up. So what the hell are they doing? But yeah, the other problem is that they've broken the AI accuracy. So I think every AI in the game has 100% accuracy all of the time.
Oh no!
Dude,
they're not even getting on a motorcycle.
melted.
Like
Yeah,
fixes that.
Nope. No. That's it. They fixed the AI accuracy bug by having it broken all the time, regardless. Same with the frame rate. They fixed all the frame rate bugs by having it broken all of the time, regardless. Have you gone into the water, RDT, and tried to swim?
Maybe.
Because it's
like
like
you go super slow or something like that.
Yeah, it's terrible. Skydiving is all the FPS bugs I said that they probably weren't going to fix. They didn't. They just made them broken all the time. So at least it's consistently broken now instead of it's based on frame rate, but it's terrible. But
so even at 30 FPS, it'll still be broken?
Yeah, same.
Wow.
So swimming is terrible. But yeah, anyway, there's a mission called Green Goo where you need to like steal the goo from the train, and you're locked into the jetpack. That mission is close to impossible with the terrible jetpack controls and the 100% AI accuracy M4 army dudes that are guarding the green goo.
Wow,
it's close to impossible. Even with like speedrun strats, we're struggling to do it.
Can you use the controller and the controls work? Like for
maybe. But, I don't want to do that. I know some people that are switching between keyboard and mouse and controller.
Hang on. Let me just for a moment channel my inner rockstar apologist. Josh, it's because games were harder back in the day. You just don't understand.
Yeah, it's weird because they fully heal you every time you start a mission, which should make, and there's checkpoints, which should make the game easier, but it's just harder. Oh, but there's one mission, A Home in the Hills, where you like go from Los Venturas to return to Los Santos at the end. That mission, they've nerfed the AI. Just that one. Every single AI in that mission will go bang, one bullet, and then they just stare at you. You can just walk through the mission. It's absurd.
Oh, that's good. Dude, I was playing through San Andreas on Xbox, and I was just getting melted. I was like, I don't remember being this bad at the game.
Yeah.
And I was just getting murdered every 2 seconds.
Now you know
it's
why.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of stuff is broken. They fixed all of the bugs with the original game by just having them be broken all of the time instead. That's how I describe it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I see everywhere across the entire internet a ton of copium going around that they'll just fix it, guys. But I don't think they will, because it's like...
You've already bought it, losers! Why would they fix it now?
But, like, I don't remember if I said it last time, but I said, like, they say it's Unreal Engine, but it isn't. It's just the original game running with Unreal Engine graphics. Well, I was right, because an interview came out, and the lead designer or programmer or whatever just described it as exactly that. It's running on 2 game engines. It's running on the original game engine, and then a translation rendering layer is happening to translate all the old draw polygon stuff into the new Unreal Engine stuff. So all the stuff you see with your eyes is Unreal Engine, but it doesn't actually handle any of the physics or anything. It's the old game that's still running underneath it.
Meddling bureaucracy.
That sounds like a disaster. How do you fix anything? You have twice as many problems. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think they fix it. I think it's just broken.
Because I heard that they put a lot of the dev team to go over and help with the definitive edition, the main dev team.
Yeah, but what
then
do
they released
Rockstar
it.
devs know about Unreal Engine and Renderware Engine? Nobody who works at Rockstar worked on these games 20 years ago, and no one at Rockstar uses the Unreal Engine. So what are they going to do?
Yeah.
How do they help?
But then they released a patch, didn't they? And they fixed a load of bugs with it, from what I saw.
Yeah, but they fixed all of the bugs that are on social media, even the ones that weren't actually bugs. You see the thing where if you wiggle in GTA 3, your car gets bigger? Did you see that? That was a really viral one going around. That's bullshit. That's not how that works. To do that glitch, you have to do a really complicated, speedrun style setup with the car crusher, and you glitch your car out of the car crusher, and then it breaks stuff with the car, and then if you drive around, it gets broken. You have to intentionally do a multi-step setup to make that happen, and someone just recorded it and put it online, and it was hey, look, it's broken. And then other things as well, where people are claiming that you can cancel fall damage by using the weapon wheel to slow down time. But no, they're just landing on a ledge every time, which cancels fall damage in the original games. It's so annoying. These games have enough problems, and people are just making shit up that isn't actually a problem. And then they're fixing it. And it's just stop fixing that. Fix actual things.
Clout. We need clout.
True.
It's so horrible.
Do you think that's a product of people that haven't played the games as extensively as you have? When someone, finds out that Paul McCartney did a song with Kanye, and they're like, I like this Paul McCartney guy. I hope he goes somewhere. Not realizing that he has been famous for the decade.
Yeah,
for
that's why people are sharing and spreading it. But people recording it have to be doing it intentionally and just lying. There's no way you could do it accidentally. A guy flew a Hydra up and jumped out and landed perfectly on the side of a building and made it slow motion as he landed on it. You don't do that accidentally while we're recording. There's no way, right? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. But the car crusher thing is impossible. You cannot do that accidentally.
I would be interested to know your experiences with the game, RDT, since you are the target audience for the game. And you got it, and you played it. Have you encountered? No, you got on Game Pass, right?
Game Pass. Yeah. I wasn't going to spend my money on it. I'm not the target audience. I'm I'll play it and be fine with it.
Did you experience anything that was game breaking or I took away from the experience?
Other than getting murdered way more than usual. Not really. I thought the graphics were a decent upgrade. I'm not sure if they upgraded the car handling, but it felt better to me. That might have been placebo or something.
It's exactly the same.
Oh, okay. But it felt better to me. I don't know why.
FPS, maybe?
Could have been.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
I thought the weapon wheel was a cool addition. I thought the story was the same old story. Of course. And I had fun playing it for as long as I did. I only got to San Fierro. And Josh said that it gets way worse after that. So maybe I won't. I'll just keep those memories. Say that it's a great game. Suggest people buy it and then let it be.
There's a few missions where you have to swim in San Fierro. So good luck with that. If you don't know speedrun strats to cheese it.
Which I don't. So
enjoy swimming very, very slowly.
Yeah, are there some missions that are like time gated? Like you've got a time limit, and you can't actually get the mission completed in the time because the swimming is so slow or something. I saw something like that at least.
Well, you could drown to death, I'm sure, in that one mission.
Yeah,
where you swim under the rocks.
Mm.
Oh yeah, swimming under the rocks. Yeah. We skip that in speedruns. We just climb on the rocks, hop out, find a boat, and just drive to where we need to go on the boat.
Okay.
Screw the swimming. Yeah, I have no idea. Probably actually, it is quite a long swimming section. You're underwater for a long time, so yeah, you could drown.
I remember that one. Yeah. Damn.
Well done, Rockstar. Good job.
Yeah.
They just outsourced it to the cheapest people that they could find.
Yeah.
Now they have this broken mess that nobody that works there know how to fix. So, yeah.
Hey, but they've made hundreds of millions of dollars. So who's the real loser here? Not them.
Yeah.
So,
it's funny. I was saying before. Sorry to cut you off, but I was saying before in the pre-show that I got an Oculus Quest, my first, dip into VR, and then I saw that they're remaking San Andreas for VR as well. So I'll probably buy that.
Yeah.
Now that will be a fun speedrun to watch you do, Josh. That one's.
I don't have an Oculus. I can't.
Oh, that's right. Shoot, you have a Vive.
It's Oculus only, and I'm not making a Facebook account. So.
Oh yeah, no, I don't recommend it.
No. I can't wait for people to call me politically incorrect racial epithets, just like in my living room.
Yeah, imagine being called a buster in VR.
I think that version is based on the old version of SA. It's not even the new version. They're taking the old version. Oh, and also, that I don't know if I'm pretty sure I brought it up on this podcast a long time ago, but I said that Rockstar were hiring virtual reality devs for their Sydney studio.
Yeah.
This is what that is.
Yeah.
I thought it was GTA 5 VR, but it's this. So even more disappointed.
We'll look forward to your review on it, RDT, after you've played it. I actually watched your stream on the morning of it being released, Josh, and I had so many relatable moments in those first 10-15 minutes when you were getting everything set up and starting it out.
Oh, that's what that note means.
Yeah. There was something that someone told you about, and you were fiddling with the settings and you kept going back, and then you put something to the maximum setting, and then someone came in and said, "What about this?" And you lost it. It's on max already. And I totally, especially being 3 days ago that the DLC for GT Online released, those DLC streams or big streams where something's released and you just get these people coming in telling you things that you already know, and you've explained 300 times already. I just related to it so much, and I thought it was hilarious to actually watch it happen to somebody else.
Yeah.
So thanks for that.
My favorite thing in the whole world is when people try to tell me stuff about San Andreas. Just you have no idea who I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you to the mods, by the way, for helping on DLC day. Because a lot of the time I just can't. If I had to actually answer these questions that people keep putting in all the time, I wouldn't be able to do a stream.
Do you never do sub-only mode?
No.
No, it's the ones that come in when you've got the big green letters on the screen saying the DLC has not been released yet.
Yeah,
it is expected at 10 a.m. UK time.
Is
and
the DLC
amount of people come in that say, "Is the DLC out?" Don't even pay attention to you, bruv.
No.
Don't even pay attention to the screen. I know, rather than using Google, I'm going to use Twitch chat as Google.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
That text on the screen thing, it was just as soon as I went into your stream, I was like, this needs to be in the middle of the screen and change multicolored.
I mean,
I do that as well.
The very first time I did that, I made it the entire size of the screen and just put it right in the middle because I was getting sick of people asking, and then I thought, okay, well let's do it reasonably so I can actually place other stuff. But yeah,
No,
I think we'll have to find some sort of OBS plugin that makes the text flash like a 90s web page.
It can bounce, it can go,
The DVD screensaver, yeah. And Andrew back, who's in the chat, who posted it, he made me a HTML thing that is a DVD screensaver of whatever text you put in. So you can have that just on the bounce around the screen.
That's.
But I have the same problem. It was after the F1 race, I have this thing where every Monday we do F1 talk 1 hour into the stream. We have to wait an hour to let everyone join because otherwise we repeat ourselves. So I had it on the screen. I said F1 talk is in, and then a timer. And people kept coming into the stream to ask when F1 talk was, or if they missed it. So eventually I made it really big. And then someone came into the stream and asked when it was, and it was like covering the entire screen. I was like, "You moron!" And everyone in chat was angry at them, and they were like, "Sorry, I'm on audio only on my phone." And I'm just like, what do I do? Right?
Oh man,
yeah.
I tend to talk about the F1 like on the Sunday stream, the first like 10-15 minutes of the Sunday stream after it's happened. And then you always get people coming in, even though it's we say specifically no Formula One spoilers or anything like that. We will talk about the Formula One later on in the podcast, by the way. But
we had someone at the start of the podcast asking what your F1 thoughts were in chat.
Oh yeah, I saw that. But like, and then I always say like, okay, just watch the VOD, like the first 15 minutes of the VOD, just go back and watch it. And then someone left a comment on a YouTube video, and I think it was Dimmite left a response saying, "Oh, it's in the first 15 minutes of the VOD on Sunday," and the guy responded back to that saying, "Oh, but that means I'd have to go to Twitch and search through the video," and I responded being like, "It's the first 15 minutes. Just load up the video, watch the first 15 minutes, and be done with it." It's like people do not want to put in any effort for themselves. And I'm not gonna regurgitate 15 minutes of thoughts in text just for your comment.
I do an hour in because it gives people because I have a lot of live viewers that want to talk about it, so I wait for an hour to let everyone join.
Yeah,
and it's also an easy timestamp to get to. But yeah, 15 minutes, like, it doesn't matter whatever. But yeah, it's just like people just don't want to. It's just like, especially with something like a sport, you don't want to just keep repeating yourself and talking about it because there's like more people than not don't care about it.
Yeah,
and it's just like you're going to lose all your viewers just constantly talking about it.
Yeah.
And especially for me when I'm doing like speed runs, if like because they're recorded live, that the start of the video is like the start of the run or whatever. It's like I don't want the start of the video to just me in some conversation with live stream chat, right? I need to like the first 5 minutes of every speed run I do has to be sort of YouTube oriented to try to actually have any YouTube audience at all.
Yeah, makes sense.
Problem.
Should we move on then? Because Nos, you're in a new room.
Yeah.
I mean, there's two of you are in new rooms actually. RDT, is that the same room for you?
First? Same room, baby.
Same room. We're in the same room, but you've had the most rooms of anybody throughout the entire podcast, though. So,
yeah. What if Hammer's in a new room?
Yeah, we would never know.
Yeah, I'm not.
No. Okay.
Well, I've been in 3 rooms so far on my podcast journey, so this is my third room. Yeah.
What was the third? Oh yeah, because you had one trailer, you got rid of that trailer and moved a new trailer in. Yeah, same place but different trailer.
Different room. Yes, different room. Domicile.
Yes, that's true.
This is my third room as well, and I've been here way less than you. For way less time.
Oh yeah, that's true. I've only had 2 rooms, and RDT's had like 7.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh no, I did some streams from Xerxes' old place, so I've had 3 rooms too. In Sweden. Anyway, who wants to go first?
I'm probably going to do a shorter version.
All right, go on
start? Then. So I'm in. This is my original like bedroom from when I was like a teenager and stuff in my parents' house. So long story short, I broke up with my girlfriend of over 10 years.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I left the flat after we had an argument. And now I'll temporarily live with my parents with their terrible internet. Also, I might if I disappear, my internet's dying. It just doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm temporarily living here until I can figure out a new life plan because I have no idea anymore. Maybe move to Sweden with my friends. I don't know. There's my desk that I used to use, and my sim racing setup is just kind of sat there, and my gear stick is just sat on the windowsill, not attached to anything, and here's a pillow.
You've actually managed to set up the sim in a way, like because it looked like you were having trouble trying to do it on Twitter, and then you eventually got it sorted. But isn't it precarious or something?
Yeah. So I'm using every single power socket available to me in this room. I'm using every single USB port available to me on my computer with a USB hub. But I can't have any more USB hubs because I don't have any more power sockets, so I'm limited on that. My VR lighthouses are just sat on either ends of the desk that I'm using. They're just sat there. So if I ever accidentally knock my desk and they move, I have to reset up all the VR stuff. If I push too hard on the chair, I'm gonna push my desk too far back against the wall, and it's gonna tip over and break my neck. The pedals, you can't see it, but the pedals are just against a storage box that I'm using with all my cables and stuff in. So I can push against that, but it's way too close. So my knees are hitting like the top of this thing. The cables barely reach because obviously I can't have that many. I used to have a USB hub dedicated for this, all the stuff in it. Obviously I can't do that because there's no power socket, so they have to stretch all the way to my computer. So they're like, you can see them, right? They're really taut. What else? Yeah, it's not great.
And the things you do for racing. I mean, in a way, it's good that you've got the VR set up to be able to, you don't need a screen taking up more space somewhere as well.
Where do you sleep?
Oh, there's another room, a bedroom.
He sleeps in the iRacing setup.
He sleeps in the chair.
I did Dracula.
I did tweet a picture of it on my profile. I'll find it and link it so you can show it. But my bedroom is like, it's a bed, then it's all of my stuff in boxes, and I have my big 4K TV on top of the storage boxes, so I can watch TV.
I did see
in
that
beds,
tweet. Yeah,
sort of. Scrolling, here it is.
You might be the first person to die in a car crash in a racing sim if the desk falls on your head.
Yes,
that's a good one, Gil Viper.
I love your artwork there, by the way, of Thomas. Let's just take something positive from this.
Oh yeah.
Because this is depressing. Don't get me wrong.
It's behind me though. There.
Yeah, but that is
in the picture. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
No,
good old
Thomas.
Thomas.
I was a teenager. Yeah, it's Thomas Tank Engine being spray painted, like tagged by like.
Is that a Banksy?
Yeah.
So yeah, what's that like? Going back to the parents, is it as bad as
terrible.
we thought
There's
it would
reason,
be? Yeah.
There's a reason I moved out as early as I possibly could.
Yeah.
Yeah. The power went out the other day here. That was fun. Just this road. It's just this house. Because like the water table or whatever shorted something, I don't know. We never figured it out, but the internet cuts out constantly. Even though we upgraded to like the best package we can get, it's just inconsistent is the problem. Yeah, neighbors are loud, constant dog barking. Parents like to argue a lot. Pretty shit.
Yeah,
if I'm honest.
Yeah,
but I have lots of friends in Europe, and I have wanted to move to Europe for a really long time. And I guess now I'm just gonna do that. Yeah, I'm saving a lot of money because obviously Definitive Edition came out, and I did loads of content, so I've made a bunch of money, and I'm no longer spending a bunch of money. So I'm just gonna save up. ESA happens in person in February. So I'll go there, talk to a bunch of people, and then see what happens.
Well, good
ebbs
luck.
and flows, brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's all ups and downs, life.
Yeah.
Speaking of ups and downs, Nos.
Yeah, your turn, Nos.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this Christmas special is making other people feel better by like just a consequence of the bad situation. It's like, it could be worse.
Josh and I are gonna take the suffering, and I'm suffering less than he is. That's for sure. But oh yeah. I mean, I'm in my own house, and I'm paying all my bills, and
Okay, we've kind of swapped situations.
Yeah,
that's true. So. Actually, yeah, you guys have swapped in the space of one podcast. You've swapped situations completely.
Yeah, we've traded.
Do you want to swap back?
No.
Okay.
Freaky Friday.
But yeah. So I think on the last podcast, did I tell everyone that I got kicked out of my home? Did I tell people?
Yeah, you might have mentioned it. You
Yeah,
were still
yeah.
in your home, but it was all coming to an end. Yeah,
Yeah, I got my eviction notice.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So my mother kicked Mavis and I out, and I had to be out by the end of the year.
That's a good point, actually. I just to interrupt. There's a good, in the chat. Josh can go live with Nossa's mum.
I
There's
was gonna
space in
say
there
that.
now.
I was like, oh, so your mum's single?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
She's
My mother's been single for a very long time and with good reason. You would not like it there.
Go on then. Sorry, Nos.
But yeah, so Mavis and I got kicked out, and I had to find a place before the end of the year. I found this place that I'm in for rent, because I have no credit, because I've bought everything in cash, because I've never needed to finance anything before, because why would I pay more for something when I could pay less for something? Because,
Yeah.
I've already secured my future, right? I can trust my mother to keep her end of the deal, right? Wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know that problem. It's so difficult. Like it makes sense. Like they don't tell you about that in like that you need in school. You need a credit history, so that means you need to like get credit and you need to buy stuff on credit, so you've got some good credit history to show. But then it comes to you needing to like get a mortgage or something like that, and it's like, oh well, you've not shown any credit history. All right, okay. I just I've been a good upstanding citizen that only pays for stuff when I have the money. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I always knew that, like, I mean, I knew all this stuff that, like, you needed a credit history and blah, 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 blah. But, like, I figured that I had kind of avoided that because of the original, to update everyone, the original plan was, my mother, bought the land and the old house we were on, and then she financed a new mobile home that got put on the lot. She financed a little over $30,000, and the deal was that like I would pay for half of that, and then we'd both pay it off together. And she was going to move to Birmingham, which is the main city in Alabama, and get a condo because she's always wanted to live in the city. And then I would then stay there at our home and take care of it, and it would pretty much be mine. So that was our plan. I paid her all the money, plus some. I was paying her like $200 a month, I think, towards the balance of the home. And then I paid her like 3 lump sums of $5,000. And a couple months after I did my last payment, she told me that she was giving me my money back, and she was kicking me out, and she would not be happy unless she lived alone. So,
which was kind of what she wanted, but like later on down the line, she decided to just move it forward. Like she was going to move out, and you were going to have that house, which was going to be perfect because you'd already paid it off, and it was ideal. But then she decided to sort of bring that significantly further forward.
She just couldn't live with me anymore, and and because like I had the audacity to have friends over or be in the living room. So, because the living room, the living room was her space. I couldn't be in the living room. So,
I feel like the new girlfriend may have had something going on there.
Definitely. Like
some insecurity there.
I was visibly becoming a lot more happy. I was having friends over often, and then I'm in a good relationship, and I guess all of that was an affront to my mother. So yeah. So she gave me 4,000 lump, like to get me out, and then she's paid me like another 2,000. So she's just paying me $1,000 a month, and luckily she's actually doing it and keeping her word. I didn't think she wouldn't, but that's kind of the situation we're in. We moved into this place at the beginning of November, so we've been here a month and a half, and it's okay. I like it. It serves its purpose. There's still a lot of stuff I need to do to make it, like feel more like a home, I guess. And still need quite a bit of money, but here we are. We've got enough to pay our bills, and we're functioning. We're living, and it's okay. But it's just an old house that's been redone enough to justify renting it out. It's not particularly nice, but it's not particularly bad either. It's got a big thing for me. Like I didn't want Mavis has a cat, and I hate pets. So the house has a sunroom. So that's like Mavis's space. Like she has all her crafts in there, and the cat stays in there and stuff, and it works out really well because it like is connected to our bedroom. So this is a temporary arrangement. It's how can you hate cats? I hate litter boxes. I hate the responsibility of feeding an animal. Like it's like once you have a pet, you can't just go and leave for like 4 days at a time.
That is true.
Cats like dump in the house, walk in their dump, and then jump on your countertops. I'm not saying I don't like cats that much, but like they're not exactly the best pets.
I'm
a dog person.
It is we have the exact opposite situation because I don't have a cat anymore, and now you've gained a cat.
Yes. Yeah, but I don't mind the cat at all. Like my anxieties really come from like having an animal unattended in my space, right? Like because that's what happened when I was a kid. My cat would destroy our furniture when we were gone, and then my dogs would destroy our house when we were gone. So yeah. So the fact that there's a space we can put the cat in that's not like abusive, because like locking a cat in like a bedroom or something is kind of like not cool. But this is like a huge sunroom with a bunch of natural light, and then get up on the windowsills, and like it's large. It's
like an
room.
apartment for the cat sort of thing.
Kinda, yeah. In a way. So like the space really works for us.
It kind of sounds very similar to like my first house when I just needed to get a house so that Zexy and I could move in together because we were in different countries and we couldn't have that anymore. And it was basic, but it served its purpose. It did the job of getting us together so we could find something better. I think it was like a year and a half later or whatever it is. It did. I think first time places, they don't have to be perfect. They are what you make of them. We made it as cozy and nice as possible. But you look back and you think, yeah, it wasn't the best, but you've done it. You're there. You're on the first step out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's and we're gonna be here for 2 years. We signed a 2-year lease, so it was a 2-year or 1 year. But if I signed a 1-year lease, the rent would have been like $50 more a month or something like that. So I just decided to go ahead because I'm doing a lot of. I've gotten permission to do work to the shed that's out back. Because it needs significant work. So I mean, if I'm gonna do all that work, I figure I might as well be here long enough to reap the benefits of it. So,
how'd you get all your cars over there? Just driving back and forth.
Yeah, basically. We rented a U-Haul and got everything. Moving was awful. I hated it.
Oh god, I hate moving. It's like the worst thing ever.
Yeah, setting up everything in this house has been awful and very stressful. But it's So it's been really really stressful. But it's stress is starting to reduce, but my mood and emotional state is not improving, which worries me. So
it'll come. I imagine it's weird, but I imagine it's more difficult than just moving out like normal people would because of the situation that you've had to move out. So there's probably going to be a lot to work through in your mind, and then it'll take a bit longer, but you'll get there. I'm sure.
And your whole life plan just changed, right? Because you were planning on owning the house that you were in, right? Like.
Yeah.
So now everything's different. Yeah.
Yep. My whole life is is completely not what it was planned to be. So that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. So, you know, yeah.
Both of you can attest to that. So we'll keep updated on how both of you progress from this point, and hopefully it's upwards.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason as to why it won't be upwards. Like I said, like the math works. You know, we make enough money to afford it here and afford the bills and everything. So like, you know, it's not like we're going to be destitute or anything. But
yeah, and the time of the year, Christmas time. So then sometimes that's harder. In a lot of
I hate Christmas. So here we are.
Your room looks eerily similar, though, to the old room. Like, the way you've set it up, it looks exactly the same. Even the cupboard behind you looks exactly the same.
Yeah, it's here. I can move my camera around if you'd like. Here, the room's a little messy. But yeah, so here... Oh, maybe I can't. Here, I can rotate it, maybe. Okay, so I changed... So we had different posters here. Those posters are now... This is terrible. This is actually awful what I'm doing. Okay, so they're right at this window here, and then I've got a TV over there in the corner, and there's the chalkboard.
A bass guitar?
No, it's a Les Paul, an Epiphone Les Paul, and then a cigar box guitar. And then now I have my Leonard Skinner album, which used to be like above this monitor, is now there. So like it's a little different, but. Yeah, but it's yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what I did when I moved into this house from the old house. I set everything up in this room exactly how I had it in the old room, and people were like, it looks just the same. Like, the desk was exactly the same, and I just put everything in the same place on the desk. Obviously, I've changed it now for the sim rig, but I was, when you're happy with a setup, you just keep it.
Yeah, and when I had, like, in the old house, we were able to get the internet ran wherever we wanted. So, I had it ran to right under my desk. And luckily, Spectrum, which is the company I have to use, hadn't ran line to this house yet. So I was able to just get it ran exactly where I had it in the old house. So everything is, like, exactly the same pretty much.
That's cool.
So it works out well. I'm happy with the state of my office. I'm happy with the state of the whole house. We've gotten some furniture and decorated and everything like that. So it's coming together.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Was the couch always just a blanket? The couch? Is that just a cow blanket?
Oh yeah. My mother made that blanket.
I feel like so betrayed.
Oh, did you think the whole
couch was just like a COWCH, like a couch?
No.
But it's just a blanket?
Yeah, it was just a blanket on the back of the couch, yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think I always just assumed it was the whole couch as well.
I feel so betrayed.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Oh, no.
I didn't know that I had lied by omission.
Imagine broken.
I am the worst indiscretion.
90% sure we covered that in one of the first episodes where Nos moved into his
We did.
office. It was a blanket made by his mother. I knew
probably
that.
did. I didn't.
I probably wasn't there.
Yeah, because CS Ninja donated enough for me to buy a couch. So I was like, I'm going to make it cow themed for you. So my mother crocheted an Afghan to go on the couch. She actually crocheted another one to sell to CS Ninja. So he has one of my mother's blankets. Yeah. CS Ninja has one of my mother's blankets.
Oh wow.
What was it? Like it seems like you're over the hardest part now. It's going to take some time to process it all and get used to everything that's new, especially since you've lived in the same house for all these years. But you're over the hardest part, and you've done the moving, which is, do you know what? The moving is the hardest part. The actual moving of stuff from one house to another is the worst situation ever to find yourself in. But obviously, as Megan had said, don't neglect attending to your mental health with all of this stuff going on. It's important in moments like this for everybody to stay on top of that aspect whilst.
Yeah, it's real hard when you're working 6 days a week. So
if he's over the hardest part, am I before the hardest part?
I don't want to say it, but
my whole life is still in boxes.
No, you're kind of in the middle of the hardest part.
The middle of the hardest part. Yeah,
you've done half of it by moving out, but you've still got to move from your middle point to the next place. So you're kind of like right in the eye of the storm. This is the eye of the storm where you're actually still streaming and you're doing stuff and you're able to podcast and do iRacing and stuff, but you're just in the eye of the storm. You've still got the other side to come yet.
Yeah, I skipped. There was no. I think my storm was more like a tornado than a like a hurricane or a typhoon. I guess if you're somewhere else, I don't know. There was no eye. It was just like I moved everything in one day.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I can see. I mean. Have you got anything bad to say? I kind of feel bad. I need to find something bad to talk about. Like, just.
It's a little rainy out today, so I can't take my bike out. But other than that,
all the humanity.
Other than that, my motorcycle's good.
Yeah, you're still
my car's
enjoying
fine. It. Yeah, a couple of my close friends at work went to other companies, but whatever. They're making more money. I'm happy for them. Yeah, everything's going pretty great.
Good.
Well, I mean, that's where I was, back in the middle of the year. I was, walking like 5 miles every day and like super happy and everything was going perfect. So,
I'm ready for disaster, RDT. We warn you.
Yes. I'm trying to remember the last big, bad thing that happened. I don't know. Maybe a flat tire 2 years ago.
Oh no!
You have such problems.
Sorry.
I mean, I feel like I'm on the precipice of things either going very well or very badly. Like it's almost the day before all of that's about to kick off for the next couple of weeks, because we're planning to get married again, and that's early January. And things are starting to kick up when it comes to various virus strains becoming more prevalent.
Don't book it during the Daytona 24 again.
No, it's before
I remember last year.
Okay,
good.
So and I'm getting my booster vaccine shot tomorrow, which always when I had the 2 vaccines first, it really knocked me out big time for 24 hours. I really hit it. It was worse than having COVID. So I'm almost the day before it could either go really badly or not too badly at all, and I'll be married in half a month's time. And the COVID vaccine won't have messed me up because it would have been different or something. I would have had no reaction. It can either go that way and everything goes fine, or it can go to the point where I have a bad reaction to the vaccine again, and I'm out of action for a couple of days. I can't do the stream that I was going to do tomorrow. Then, Christmas, we have issues with COVID or something, and then we can't get married because of COVID, and that gets cancelled. It's right on that precipice where it could go one way or the other. So I'll let you know in January. What?
Wait, when are you getting married?
January. Early January.
Early January?
Yeah.
Is it on the 3rd? So it'll be 1322 if you're an American? Come on.
It actually is.
It is?
The reason that
I wish you would have invited us. That's kind of I feel
offended, but, not whatever. That we could come anyway. But
I could.
Oh yeah, Josh could. Yeah.
I mean, we're keeping it again, just like last year. We're keeping it as small as possible with the least amount of people as possible. But the reason it's the 3rd is because the 3rd of January 2016 is when I raided Xerxes on Twitch for the first time.
Yeah. That's it's not just because you're a narcissistic sociopath.
No, because then
that's centered around you.
Then I proposed on the 3rd of January 2018. And then we were due to be married the 3rd of January last year, but obviously that didn't happen, so we've had to push it back to the 3rd of January this year, and it just happens that it's the 1322 in America. Just so, but I am actually going to do a proper celebratory fun stream on the 1st The 1st of March 2022. That will be the proper 1322. I'll do something fun on that.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. Then, you know the logical way to write dates.
It's happening. It's the MCEC announcement.
Oh no, not that.
What I'm taking from this is that I need to raid females, not males.
Yes.
Well,
okay.
Whichever way, yeah, we're here now. We're not, you know.
Oh yeah, you could just raid gay men.
Yeah. Start with Nas. No, just kidding.
No, no. I have a girlfriend now. Why does no one believe me that I'm not gay?
So should we move on from the depressing side of the podcast into?
No, I just want to stay here and stew in it. Honestly, I just want to suffer. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
wait. What here isn't depressing? What are you about to move on to?
Yeah, I was gonna move on to more controversial aspects. Not
I was gonna say.
It's not. I'm not saying it's going to be good, but at least it won't be wholly depressing. I've actually
the depression of capitalism.
Well, yeah, I've forgotten exactly what happened with this.
Josh knows. Don't worry. Don't you?
Is there a document I should be referencing?
Well, yeah, the document that we have for the podcast every time we do a podcast that you never look at. That's the document.
Yeah, that one.
That one.
Whatever. What's I don't even know what my email password is. Streamlabs had major controversy in between the last two podcasts. For those who don't know, Streamlabs is like, it started out as like the place to get like your alerts on Twitch, like my alerts when someone donates or becomes a subscriber and it pops up.
I'm about to click your donate button. Oh, you're still using them, Bruffy.
I know. Shame. I've got so many variations of alerts for all these different donation sounds and for the YouTube side as well. And I use the labels for the screen. Like it's that it's almost impossible to move to anything else at this point without like, I don't know, a couple of days worth of doing it, and then I'm not even guaranteed that whatever I move to would have the same functionality for every little thing that I use it for. So
I know Stream Elements has like an import button that you can import all your Streamlabs.
Yeah, I need to take a look at it. I looked at it.
I'm sure the last time I used it, it didn't copy everything over.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Very spotty.
Yeah, Stream Elements is probably your best bet. The problem for me is that they don't have XSplit support, so I'm totally screwed. I've been talking to a few people. It's like maybe we could make our own stuff using their API, but it's just like, can Streamlabs just not be evil so I don't have to move?
I know.
That'd be great.
But some people might know Streamlabs as the like live streaming program, because they a few years ago they came up with Streamlabs, as they called it, Streamlabs OBS, and it was basically OBS is the thing that is, there was XSplit that Josh uses, and that's what he uses to put his stream out there, and I use OBS, which is open broadcast software. That's like what's it? What's the name of it?
You mean Josh uses XSplit? Everyone else on the planet uses OBS.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't want to say
there are people who uses XSplit. The people who are sponsored by them who got it for free. That's and Josh.
Yeah, the big thing when it was just those two mainly is that XSplit cost money and OBS didn't.
I have a lifetime license, so I don't have a problem.
What is it called again? Open source software. OBS is.
Yeah.
So basically, Streamlabs took OBS's program, put their own skin on it, actually removed a lot of features because it was pretty bare bones. It was worse.
Yep.
And released it as Streamlabs OBS, which was meant to be like a more simplified thing, and they've started adding stuff back in over the years. But over the years, they've been a bit annoying with it because they've called it Streamlabs OBS. So yeah, they are allowed to do that because it's open source software. They can do that, but they called it OBS, which confused people between OBS Studio, which was the original, and then Streamlabs OBS. And then they promoted that on Google Ads and stuff. So if you typed in OBS, the first thing that would pop up would be a sponsored post for Streamlabs OBS, when the actual first result without the sponsored post was the proper full OBS. So that was always like a little bit scummy. And then the controversy really kicked into gear. Was it last month? Yeah, like end of November-ish. And I'm blanking on what the controversy was.
So there are like, I can't remember exactly what the tool was, but there's another streaming thing.
Oh yeah, that's it.
That they just completely cloned and made their own version of, and they have a website advertising it, and they just completely copy pasted the thing they copiedd's website, like verbatim. Like even the fake reviews at the bottom were like exactly the same.
Yeah, it was called. Was it Lightstream? The thing that
something
they
like
copied.
that. Yeah.
Speaking as someone that does that sort of web development for a living, I would say that's probably very easy to do accidentally, and to give them a little bit of benefit of a doubt, something from staging has just crept into live that shouldn't have done.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably. Or they could be evil. Who knows?
The thing is, certain things were changed and certain things were kept the same. Like it feels like if it was a mistake, everything would have just been the same as what they like copied over or whatever.
Because based on the components that they use, the components that they use to build their web pages could be completely different. And somebody higher up's gone, "Hey, I want that in our system," and one of the devs has gone, "All right, I'll try and knock it up in what we've got," and they've done it sort of almost the same as what they've got with the tools that they've been given, and somebody accidentally pushed publish, and it went live.
It's
I'm purely playing devil's advocate, and I don't know if there's any reason to be, but I'm just saying, to be honest, it's probably the sort of thing that I would do. You know?
Yeah. But then you're smart enough or responsible enough to not publish it, right?
Well,
okay,
that's a self-report right there, boys.
But it's a lot more than that. Like loads of devs from like years and years ago. Like basically, whenever anyone makes something cool for a streamer and it gets sort of popular, Streamlabs would approach them and be like, "Hey, can we talk to you about this thing? We want to, we might get you to add it to our stuff," and they'll talk to them about it. And the talks won't go anywhere, and then like a month later, Streamlabs will magically have their own version after talking to them. And loads of devs came forward and say this. It was like a month or two ago, so I don't have links anymore. But yeah, it's more than just all of the. Those are the two big things. Was like the Lightstream and the OBS stuff, and that's what OBS's tweet is what started it. And it's like the whole Me Too thing, right? But obviously kind of different. But once someone says something, a bunch of other people are like, "Hey, also they've done this to me as well," right? Yeah.
I'm seeing if I can find.
I've got the tweet here. Do you want me to link it to you?
Yeah. I was trying to find like the image of like both of the pages side by side. I'll show it on the podcast for anyone who hasn't seen it. It was weird. But the thing is, like, Streamlabs took the exact idea that Lightstream was already doing. They pretty much put out exactly the same web page and announced that they'd partnered with Xbox on this product because it allowed you to put alerts and things like that onto your stream from if you were streaming from Xbox or something like that.
Wait, are we talking about different things here, or
maybe?
Because I'm like, what I thought this was like, Streamlabs had slobs and
it's both.
Like it's both. Yeah, that all came out after this.
Oh, okay.
But
okay,
like the fact that it was all they published everything as part of this big link up and tie up with Xbox and Twitch were publishing it and promoting it too, and then Lightstreamer over here like, "Hey, this is like ours, and that's our webpage, and you've copied the reviews that we're talking about our product," and like, and then it all blew up at that point. And then OBS came out and said, "Oh yeah, we've had issues." And then Elgato at one point, it was like the Stream Deck they copied that and things like that. Let's see.
Okay,
I
can't find the actual tweet, but I found this image which describes it adequately.
Hang on. Yeah, everybody bagging on.
Do you want the image? Hold on.
I want the image.
Copy.
I've got a image here. I want to show just. All right, there we go.
Yeah, that was the light stream thing. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Monitor here. So on the left is Lightstream. That was the original one, and on the right is Streamlabs Studio. And like word for word, pretty much. Cloud capture for console streams. Personalize Xbox and PlayStation streams to Twitch without a capture card or high-end PC. Cloud capture for console streams. Personalize Xbox streams to Twitch without a high-end capture card or PC. Or capture card or high-end PC. Like the even word for word, even the reviews.
Yeah, like who does this? Like who just blatantly copies like this?
So that
they're not going to get caught.
The wording being exactly the same is the reason that I think this is a mistake, because where I work, all of that would have had to go through a copywriter, unless, of course, the copywriter has just copied everything from the other website, which is hugely risky, and any copywriter worth their salt would not do that, because all it takes is a quick Google and you get exactly the same results coming up.
But the fact that they did the reviews as well, like there's one review here for Lightstream. Lightstream is literally one of the greatest things I've ever discovered. Thank you for making it so much for making it so easy. And then they've changed it to Streamlabs Studio. It's literally one of the greatest things I've ever discovered. Thank you so much for making these exactly the same.
I think the problem, Hammer, is that not only just the website has been copied, but the actual program itself, right, is also been copied, which makes it like it's harder to devil's advocate.
That is true. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but I mean, yeah, like it from the website perspective, this looks to me to be a mistake. Somebody's gone, we're making a program exactly like that. Go and copy their webpage, Mr. Designer. Okay, no problem. Fires on, builds it all in the components, and copies over all of the text that was on the original page. Here's a mock-up of what it looks like. Whoops, I accidentally published it. That's what it looks like to me. But
the problem with the accidental publishing,
they've also copied the entire program as well. So
and also the fact that like they had this announcement tied in with Twitch, with Xbox, because it was all partnered up, and like it's not as if they've accidentally clicked publish and not realized it. Like they knew that they were going to be publishing it and announcing it, and they knew when that was all going to happen.
But. It would have gone through a review beforehand and gone like, oh well, obviously if you've copied exactly what was on the other site, then we need to get in and change that and whatnot. And it would have just literally been a starter for 10, and then they've gone, oops, we've published it.
Yeah,
it could very well be that was their starter for 10, and then they copied it and pasted it, and went to change it to the new design that was live, but left the original version there and published the wrong version. It could be as easy as that as well.
I think it's difficult to believe that when they've had so many issues with other companies and other copying of other things, and it's been a historical thing that they've done over the years. It ends up being like, yeah, you've shown a track record at this point, and
that's the thing, though. This website, that's too big a mistake to make.
Right, I see.
It's too big a similarity for it to be intentional.
They're either completely incompetent or it was a mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, they got a lot of controversy coming their way from it, and a lot of crap, and they deserve it, frankly. And yeah, I would want to move away from using them if I wasn't so ingrained with all the problem is, it's like yeah, not everything might copy over to, like, say, Stream Elements or something, but then there's little things like the labels that I use for Streamlabs, and I don't know whether that carries over one for one with Stream Elements, and then the YouTube stuff all ties in on Streamlabs to what I use for the Twitch stuff, and whether that would go one-to-one copying over. It's just all these little things that it makes me wish that I didn't have all of these variations, and it would take me hours to put them all back in, or to even just check them if they didn't copy over every little font, or font size was wrong or something like that. It would take hours. So
tell you what to do, bruv, though. If you are interested in switching to Stream Elements, their customer reps and like Twitch person, like liaison people, are very, very good. To the point where I've heard like them helping set up everything for particular streamers and whatnot. I don't know if that's the case nowadays, but it might be worth having a word with them just to see, just put the feelers out there.
Yeah, it also does make you kind of want to be able to just program something yourself. Like, if I had the skills, I would just make something that was specific to my own stream and linked in the things that I wanted to link in, and not all the other stuff. Like, I'd turn off.
Yeah, and then if you decide to be evil later down the line, it's okay because it's you.
Yeah,
so
I'm not going to be tarnished by using any other program. Or if they choose to if say Streamlabs chose to monetize their features now, I would be in a position where am I going to pay that, or am I going to put in all the work to change it? Like, having to rely on other platforms, but then the whole thing falls down if you think like that. We're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we're all just at the mercy of the platforms anyway.
I was going to say, as someone who does program stuff for their stream, it's not as easy as it sounds, because how much free time do you have, Profi? Like,
yeah, exactly.
You make the wheel from scratch again on your own, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the positive thing about this whole thing is like the outpouring of support for OBS, and everyone standing beside them was in my opinion, like a big deal.
Absolutely.
Like all of the biggest personality. Yeah.
And a lot of people saying, wait, I didn't even know OBS existed, because they probably searched for OBS and just got Streamlabs OBS that was promoted. Yeah. And then people saying, oh yeah, it's really easy now. And OBS has done a lot in recent years for the onboarding process for new streamers and things, to make it a lot more easy for them to understand the program and get set up. So it's a great program. Like, it's the complete correct middle ground between like a purpose-built like program and usability, in my opinion. Like with OBS Studio, at least. Like the original OBS was kind of finicky to use, but OBS Studio is is fantastic. And they're all it's all open source and completely free, and they work on, I support them on Patreon because I want to, but I would hope that during all of this, OBS would have got more support on Patreon from people that are supporting them and thanking them for the work that they've done, and realizing that Streamlabs have taken people away from them.
Did any of you see the other company that got in trouble yesterday for violating OBS's user
TikTok
license agreement? Yeah. TikTok decided to. Yeah, TikTok decided to create TikTok Live completely based off OBS, but didn't make any of their source code available, so are in violation of their license agreement with OBS.
Yeah, Oops. So for open source software, there's different licenses you can have, and for OBS, it's you're allowed to use their code for commercial use as long as you make it also open source, right?
Yeah, like Streamlabs OBS is also, their code is also out there, open source, and TikTok didn't do that.
There's loads of different licenses you can use. There's ones that just you can't use it for anything, and there's ones where you can use it for everything, however you want, stuff like that. Yeah,
it's not really open source if you can't use it for anything, though, is it?
Yeah, well, for company use.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
But yeah, that's why most software nowadays has like a button hidden somewhere that says, "Here's all the open source licenses," right? Like I'm pretty sure like all the consoles have that as well, and you can see all of the open source software they're using because they have to disclose it. Yeah,
good job, TikTok.
Can we talk about F1 now?
Yeah, I guess so.
Another
Okay.
conversation that I honestly have no information on.
Opinion on RDT? Come on.
Did you not watch the finale?
Of course not. I saw that my cousin was in Saudi Arabia for that race.
I mean, that was a joke of a race too, but
she said she had a good time, at least on Instagram. I don't talk to her much. She's from Ireland, so.
But that was a lot. That was a lot all at once.
That almost sounded like that was the reason that you don't talk to her. Like, I don't talk to her much. She's from Ireland, so.
You know, they're over there doing their own thing, but
what about you, Nuss? Did
Verstappen won, right?
Of course not. You think I have time for Formula One? I'm out here driving Formula One every day. Okay. Like,
I had some hope you guys would have seen it because on my Twitter I was seeing people complain that everyone was talking about F1. When you see that, you know it's gone mainstream.
Yeah, no, I did notice. Like, I mean, when there's an out of the loop Reddit post about something, it's like it's kind of crossed over. Excuse me. So I saw that, but yeah. So from my understanding, Lewis Hamilton basically had the race won very easily, and then the stewards were like, "Let's let Max win." Basically, is that it from?
Pretty
like
much, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like what if Max won instead?
Yeah, but so, what if?
Okay, the problem is, for ages now, two things have been happening. Firstly, the stewards have been kind of shit for several years, all the time. True. They're super inconsistent, and especially this year, they're doing the whole just let them race bullshit, where they just like don't even investigate stuff that happens, even though if there are no did my internet die?
You came back for a second. There you go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was a big. Okay. We missed what you said, but it was a big lag spike.
Okay. Yeah. So the stewards have been really inconsistent for several years, and this year especially because of the title fight, they've been like, "Oh, let them race," and like just trying to abstain from doing anything all the time. The problem with that is then people just started abusing the rules too much, and then they had to get involved. So it was just like exactly the same, but it just went too far in addition.
It's been a joke of a season from a stewarding perspective this season, considering it was the closest title fight and they were level on points in the final race. Like, it should have been the most epic title, but all I can think is all these decisions and situations that the stewards have botched that affected the title fight one way or another throughout the year.
Yes, this whole year has led up to it, and like the Max had like it's between two people, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton won 7 championships before this, 5 of them in a row. No, 5 of them in a row, right?
Rosberg won in 16, so it would have been like 3 in a row, 2 in a row. Like, I don't think
he's won a lot. And then Max is like the new upcomer, and it's like they're finally
new hotness.
Yeah, they're finally actually doing as good as them. So, but the thing is, Max has got really unlucky a lot of this season. So it's like, I don't know. We'll talk about the thing that happened, but it's hard to be like, oh, Max won because of this one thing, when like loads of stupid crap has happened the entire year.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, but so Max Verstappen got ahead in the season, and then they were pretty close. And then Lewis Hamilton has had a crazy run of races in the last few races coming up the season. Like Brazil was incredible. Saudi Arabia was really good. Like he's had a fire lit up his ass, and now it's like, yeah, it's like there's Formula One, which is Perez, Bottas, and everyone except the Hasses. There's Formula 1.5, which is the 2 Haas cars, and then there's Formula 0.5, which is Lewis and Max. They're just nowhere near anyone else. They're just so fast. It's just been totally the whole season just about them. And yeah, we came into the final race, The final race of the season, and both of them have exactly the same amount of points to the half point, which is like insane. There's one race left. The only thing is, Max has won one more race than Hamilton. So if they both crash, Max will win because of, like, if they have the same
tiebreaker.
points, the tiebreaker is how many wins they have, yeah. So we get into this race, and it's like this weird situation of Max, who's pretty aggressive. It's like, yo, if he just hits Hamilton and they both crash, like, he'll just win.
Yeah.
And Hamilton knows this, and you can tell the whole way he was driving the whole race, he was terrified of crashing.
And Verstappen has been like the one who's been more pushing the boundaries of the stewards throughout the year in terms of the moves that he's done. Like moves that I would have been thinking, okay, well, that would be penalised. And if it had been penalised the first couple of times he'd done it during the first couple of races, he would have been like, okay, well then, okay, I can't fault Verstappen for going for those kind of moves because he's been allowed to do it. He's just doing whatever he needs to do to win, but he sort of like just launches himself into the apex, and whatever happens to the other person, it doesn't matter. And he's been allowed
that sounds like me. I like that style of
Yeah.
racing.
The one race that I did watch was the one where he like kind of went off the track a little bit and passed Hamilton, but gave him the position back. I don't remember which one that was. But
there's been a lot of
the one where
Hamilton
went off the track 27 times in the same place.
Maybe, I don't know.
I
remember it was like in the
name.
last like 5 laps or something like that, and he was gonna catch him anyway, but he just pushed on that one corner. It might have been Bahrain. Okay,
yeah, Bahrain sounds right. Yeah.
But anyway, so we come into this race. Qualifying doesn't go well for Max, and they have to start on the soft tires, which is like made out of paper because it's the soft tire of the whole range. Long story, his tires are gonna be like run down to the metal in like 5 laps, whereas Hamilton gets to start on the medium tire, which is the one you want to start on, for reasons. So, but Max is at least in front of him on the grid, so it was like Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, and then the only other person who's sort of involved was Sergio Perez, who's Max's teammate, who has like nothing left to lose. Might as well just help my teammate, right? And then Hamilton's teammate is nowhere to be found as usual.
Who is Hamilton's teammate? Is it still Bottas?
Bottas.
Bottas? Yeah.
Not anymore, but yeah.
Oh,
it's gonna be George Russell next year, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
But the race starts. Hamilton gets in front of Max. Am I remembering this right? Hamilton gets in front of Max.
Yeah.
And then they come up to halfway through the lap. There's like one big heavy braking zone corner, and you have to turn to the left. Max goes to the inside and like from very far back, like sends it down the apex, and it's like it was a very controversial move because Hamilton doesn't try to defend it, doesn't do anything. Max goes straight across, stays on the track, and manages to make it round the corner just barely. Like he completely blows the corner, but just barely makes it. But Hamilton then decides to go completely off the track to like avoid Verstappen. And the problem with this is that this was the only thing that happened in the race until the end. So everyone was arguing about this one move the entire time because Hamilton comes out in front and then just stays in the lead and then just runs away because he's faster and he has better tires.
And to be fair, like I've been pretty critical of Verstappen's moves throughout this year. I thought that was a good move. I thought that deserved the position because he kept it on the track for once. And yes, it was a dive bomb, but Hamilton was very passive in that situation. He didn't defend it. He didn't try to, block him in any way. He just kind of let him have it, and he didn't even.
He was terrified.
Yeah,
it's another situation where the stewards are the problem.
Yeah,
the Max fanboys and the Hamilton fanboys are getting angry at each other, but it's neither of their faults. So Verstappen has every right to try to overtake there. And he knows if they crash, he'll win. I'm not saying he's trying to crash, but what I'm saying is Hamilton doesn't want to defend because he knows if they crash, Verstappen will win. Yeah. So Hamilton doesn't try to defend or do anything. Verstappen stays on the track, keeps going around. Hamilton goes across the track and gains he cuts a corner, so he gains time. The FIA ask Hamilton to give the advantage back, but they say the time he gained, not the position. Right? But the problem is, it's hard to know if he even did that, and it's just and then Red Bull complain on the radio to the FIA, like, hey, why isn't Hamilton given the position back? And the FIA is like, oh no, it's fine. He gave his advantage back. He gave the time he gained back. And everyone's just like, where? When did he do it? Or whatever.
But to be fair, it was such
quantify that.
Yeah, but it's like if the FIA radios you and says, yo, insert this much time back, and you do it, right? Of course you're not going to give more back.
Yeah, you're not going to give them the position or anything. Yeah, you're going to give what they tell you to give.
Yeah, it's not Hamilton's fault for doing what the FIA asked. It's not Verstappen's fault that the FIA didn't ask for enough. It's the FIA's fault. Again, it's the stewards.
Has that ever happened? Like, is that a common occurrence where they say give time back?
So the problem here is that, one, they're trying to not get involved again because they don't want to be like, yo, swap positions, because then it looks like they're just choosing who's winning. So they're trying to do the whole let them race crap. And the second thing is that the way you've read the rules before, right, Bruffy? You can't just completely dive bomb into a corner to get ahead to claim then that you had the right to the corner and stuff, right?
No, you can't take an inordinate amount of speed into the apex just to say that you were ahead at the apex. And you can't, you've got to still make the corner.
Yeah, but it's so awkward because Verstappen makes the corner, but in the shittiest way possible. Like, it doesn't go over the white line.
But still, for me, the fact that he made the corner makes it all a difference. Like, that's racing. He went for the move, and Hamilton should have backed out of it at that point. Then that's his. And if he'd been smart about it, he would have let him dive deeper to the corner and cut back on him and get him on the next straight. But
doesn't want to die, right? Is the
no,
problem.
He just wanted to go off the track. But the thing is, to me, that was an inconsequential move anyway, because even if Hamilton had given him the position back, he had the pace to win that race regardless.
That's the worst part, is that Hamilton could have easily given the position back and then just blown past him again.
Yeah.
Because he was so much faster and on better tyres. So it didn't even matter. But it was the only thing that happened for 30 laps. So everyone was arguing about it the entire race.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Put in the chat there, but Max wasn't even alongside entering the braking phase. He just dived through expecting the move. Well, yeah, he doesn't have to be alongside in the braking phase. He just has to be ahead at the apex.
It's aggressive.
It's a dive bomb, but he made it.
I wouldn't say neither of the drivers did anything wrong in that situation.
No, they did what they were they're all pushing to what they need to do to win.
Yeah. Hamilton is maximum survival, right? He sees Verstappen coming down the inside, just like, okay, I'm not even taking the corner, right? Like, screw that. Because if Hamilton had turned in, they would have crashed, right? So, I don't know. Neither of them did anything wrong. Anyway, the race continues. Eventually, everyone pits for new tyres. Everyone except Perez, who's Verstappen's teammate. And they do the thing where there's this thing that you can do where if you just, at the start of the race, you just leave a driver out for ages, way beyond when they should have pit. And he just poodles around on the track. And then because Hamilton pits, he goes behind him on the track. And then because they never pit Perez, Hamilton has to overtake Perez at some point. Right? You just completely fuck Perez's race, but it doesn't matter because they have nothing else to gain at this point. But somehow, some way, on soft tires that are 30 laps old versus Hamilton's fresh, whatever he's on, hards, I guess. Perez manages to hold up Lewis Hamilton for Hamilton is what was he, 8 seconds ahead of Verstappen at that point?
Yeah, it was 8 seconds.
Something like that. And then Perez puts on the greatest defense I've ever seen.
It was ridiculous.
And it's just I think it's a mix of things. It's a mix of Perez probably just did nothing on his softs. He probably just conserved his soft tires the entire race until that one moment because that's all he needed to do.
He's like, my time shine.
Yeah, it's that. It's the fact that Hamilton is even more scared of crashing into Perez because if he crashes into Perez, it doesn't matter if it's Perez's fault. Perez will get a penalty, but not Verstappen. So then Verstappen will win, right? So Perez is even scarier than Verstappen. So it's he's pussyfooting around Perez trying to get past him. But Perez, even so, it was the best defense I've ever seen in F1 at all.
He lost 5 or 6 seconds in one lap. Verstappen was right back behind him again after one lap of defense.
Yeah.
Has anyone done that Thor meme where it's It's like, oh, you can't defeat me. I know I can't, but he can. It's just like Sergio Perez like breaking out. I want to see that. Somebody do that.
The brilliance of it was that like he went slow, like overly slow in the corners where he knew Hamilton couldn't get past. Like towards the end of the lap, it's just a sequential sequence of corners where there's nowhere to overtake, and he just goes super slow because there's no way he can get past.
What does this remind you of, Profi?
Ricardo at Monaco in 2018 when he had no,
it's one involving Hamilton.
When Hamilton was holding up Rosberg to try and because Rosberg was going to win the championship. Yeah,
so he's trying to back him up into the front. But it was a great defense because Hamilton. It looks like Hamilton's just going to blow past him, and everyone's just like, oh well, normal F1 defense, you can't really do anything. But Perez actually comes back at him.
Passes him again. I know.
And have a battle, and he holds him up 5 seconds or whatever, and then all of a sudden Verstappen is in the same picture as Hamilton when he wasn't.
Wow.
But then even that didn't matter because Hamilton drove away again.
It still doesn't matter. Hamilton is still too fast. Just he's the best form ever or whatever. He's doing well. The last few races he's just been incredible.
Yeah, he's been unbeatable. To be fair.
Yeah, like a few races before this, I don't think we had a podcast for Brazil, did we? No, we didn't.
No.
A few races before this, they did before we get to the big final moment. I just want to, brown nose Hamilton a little bit. But like, there was a Brazilian race. They were doing the thing where they do a sprint race. So they have 2 races in a weekend, and the sprint race is the qualifying for the main race, right? So it sets the positions. Hamilton in that race. He had to take a new engine, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to take new engine stuff. So he had a 20-place grid penalty. So he was starting from last place on the grid. He then got another 5 grid place penalty, right? For something?
Yeah, something. I can't remember exactly what it was. But he had a 5-place penalty for the race, the main race. So wherever he would finish in the sprint race, he would start the main race 5 places below where he actually finished.
He got disqualified from qualifying. That was it, right? He got disqualified from qualifying for having the wing open too much.
It was like tiny 0.2 millimeters or something.
Yeah, so confusingly, there's a qualifying for the sprint race, and then the sprint race is the qualifying for the actual race. But anyway, he got disqualified from qualifying, so he started in last in the sprint race. He worked his way all the way up to 5th or something in the sprint race. Then
he went from 20th to 5th in a third of a regular race.
Yeah. Then he got a further 5-place grid penalty for the engine he took. And then he went from 10th or whatever in the race to 1st and won the race. He had a 25-place grid penalty. There's more cars than there are on the grid. And he still won. It was incredible. So Verstappen, Hamilton's been on absolute fire since Brazil.
If you put Hamilton in a Ferrari or a Haas or formerly Williams or whatever, would he still be? Would he?
Yeah. So his first world championship was in a McLaren, which wasn't very good.
Oh, okay.
And he still won that year.
What a beast.
The thing is, he's won in every single season that he's raced, even in cars where they haven't exactly been the best.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, getting back to the actual race. So the race is closing in. It doesn't look like Verstappen's going to catch Hamilton. It looks like it's just going to be a boring end to the season. Hamilton's just going to win. 5? Was it 5? Well, I'm going to say 5.
5 laps.
5 laps. 5 laps before the end. Mick Schumacher, son of Michael Schumacher, the only other 7-time world champion, is having a battle in his crap Haas car with a slightly less crap Williams car, overtakes the Williams of Latifi, right? And then as he's overtaking him, the dirty air from the Haas car throws Latifi off and he crashes into a wall. Ouch. 5 laps to go. So they have to call a safety car. Now in F1, when a safety car gets called, there's a car comes out, like a regular car, and all of the super advanced F1 cars have to sit behind them and they form a big queue. And it's to make it so that all the F1 cars are in one place in the grid so that people can go on the track. That you wait for them to go past, then people can be on the track while the regular car drives all the way around. So they have the maximum amount of time to clean the crap off the track. The problem is it bunches all the cars up. So all of their advantages are like lost.
Yeah.
And in the split second when that happened, Mercedes has a choice. They can pit Hamilton for new tires because he's on like 30 lap old hards at that point. They can pit him for tires, and then Red Bull could maybe leave Verstappen out, and then Verstappen will go in front of Hamilton in the pits, and then Hamilton will come out the pits. Sure, he'll have better tires, but there's only five laps left. The race might not restart. It might just end under safety car.
Yeah, you would never pit Hamilton in that situation.
Yeah. The other problem is if they don't pit Hamilton, Red Bull 100% pit Verstappen because there's no reason not to, because there's no one close enough behind him to get in front of him.
So that's what they do. They pit him for new soft tires, which are the fastest, and they only have a couple of laps to do anyway. So they pit him, and he still comes out in second place behind the safety car.
Yeah, but then he doesn't lose any time because he just catches up to Hamilton anyway because they're under the safety car.
Let's just point out that Hamilton would have had the gap to pit had Perez not done his magic. That's true, actually. That's a fair point. I never thought about that. Yeah, Hamilton would have been able to pit and come back out in front of Verstappen anyway.
I still don't know if they would have, though. It's weird.
Well, because they would have been all going slower as well behind the safety car.
I mean, I don't know if Mercedes would have taken the choice. I mean, because it's weird, right? Because the way...
I think they would have had to.
In F1 strategy, you always, if you're in the lead, you want to do the same as everyone else, and if you're not in the lead, you want to do the opposite of everyone else. So I think Red Bull would always do the opposite of whatever Hamilton did. But anyway, the point is they're right next to each other. The problem is there are 5 lapped cars between Hamilton and Verstappen, like 5 other cars that they've lapped. Like Hamilton managed to get past and lapped, but Verstappen hasn't yet. So they're in between them, like physically on the track, not in the race, obviously, because they're like a lap down. But physically on the track, they're in the way. And for a few laps, they just drive around the safety car. You know, they're evaluating the damage and trying to fix all the crash stuff. And everyone's just like, oh, it's just going to finish on the safety car. What a shame, you know. Kind of boring, but, you know. Then they announce on the thing that the stewards have a choice. They can either allow all the lapped cars to pass, to get out of the way, and they like unlap themselves, and then once they've caught up, they restart the race. Or they can announce that lapped cars will not be allowed to pass, and they'll just restart in the order that they physically are on the track. The reason they let lapped cars pass is so they're not in the way of the leaders and stuff like that, and it's less dangerous because you don't have slow cars mixed in with fast cars. Anyway, but they announced that they won't allow cars to pass, they won't allow lapped cars to pass. So now it's like, oh, well, even if they do restart, there's 5 cars between Verstappen and Hamilton. You know, he has no chance.
I think he still would have had a chance on those softs. He would have got past the back markers pretty quick, and he would have caught up to Hamilton in a couple of corners.
Yeah, but then he has to get past Hamilton. And he'll use all the good overtaking opportunities on the lapped cars, and then he'll catch Hamilton on the like hotel part.
Yeah.
Where you just screwed, right? Who knows? We'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know.
And I think, and I was like, okay, this would be a pretty fitting end. You know, can Verstappen make it past the 5 blue flags and catch Hamilton or whatever? Then they announce, and this is where the big thing of contention comes from. They announce that they're going to allow 5 lapped cars to pass. Can you guess which 5?
No.
The ones in between. There's the ones in between Hamilton and Verstappen. They say, oh, actually, we are going to allow lapped cars past, but only these 5, which has never happened ever.
And they also then immediately said, and the race will restart on the next lap with 1 more lap to go. Like,
there are 2 laps left, and they're about to, you know, only have 1 lap left, and then, the
rules specifically say that, like, once the lapped cars have gone past, the safety car comes in at the end of the following lap. So that would have been the end of the race with 1 lap to go.
That would have been like lap -1, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so they just let the 5 go through between Verstappen and Hamilton, and then say, right, start the race immediately.
with 1 lap left.
With 1 lap left. And Verstappen's on brand new soft tyres and Hamilton's on 40 lap old hard tyres, and it's just not a concept. Verstappen overtakes him on that last lap because, of course, he's almost in a different car.
Yep. Hamilton leads the entire race outside of pit stops. And then, yeah, it's... The problem is everyone's being like, oh, Max just got lucky or whatever, and then Max fans are like, oh, but Hamilton got lucky this whole time, and he gets lucky all the time. So it's fine. Max just getting lucky for once. But that's not the problem. The problem is Massey, who's the race director, just decided to make up a procedure. And it all comes from this bullshit, let them race. Like, they were...
Let the boys play.
He was so desperate to not be the one to decide the championship by ending it under safety car or having to just wait, too long.
He literally decided the championship.
And he literally decided the championship, yes. It's like insane. It's just like, oh, well, we'll just, the cars in between them, we'll just let them pass and then they'll have at it. But it's just like, it's not a fair fight. It's
because then Carlos Sainz, who was in 3rd place, then didn't have a chance to overtake Verstappen because the lapped cars that were in between 2nd and 3rd were still there. But the lapped cars in between 1st and 2nd were gone. So Verstappen basically had free reign to go and attack. It was just, whichever way you look at it from a moralistic rules perspective, nothing about that was right.
It's just fun. It's just it's totally obvious that they were only thinking about Hamilton and Verstappen. Because Ricciardo, who's behind Sainz, was not allowed to unlap himself. And he was catching the car in front. And suddenly he's just not allowed to do it. Because he's behind... he's too far. He's not in between Verstappen and Hamilton, right?
And there was an overtime situation.
You can't in F1 because they don't have enough fuel, and they can't refuel.
They got to change that. They need to do a sudden death or do a fist fight at the end of the race.
The thing is, there was another option open to him where he could have just red flagged it with 5 laps to go and restarted the race.
No. That's even worse because then you're red flagging for not safety reasons. You're red flagging for
No, I agree. I hate the red flagging, but in the precedent that they've done this year, they have red flagged races at the end just to make it so that they get 5 laps of racing at the end or whatever. But I don't like the fact that they do that because it just it's manufacturing entertainment for the sake of it. But that was an option that would have been better than what they actually did.
Yeah. If they were going to be desperate to have a race, then that would have been the better bullshit option. But it still would have been the better bullshit option. Yeah.
But the best option would have just been to leave the lapped cars where they were and just get the race started as quickly as possible. 1 or 2 laps left. Yes, Verstappen have to get past the lapped cars, but at least it would have been close.
No, because it would have been so messed up because they would have been blue flagged and they would have been obligated to get out of the way and they have 2 turns to do it or whatever. But if you don't immediately get out of the way, everyone's going to hate you. But they're still racing each other. I don't know. I don't know. I think
that's just racing. Then it turns down to Verstappen having to overtake the back markers like he would overtake anybody else.
Is it up to Verstappen or is it up to the back markers?
Well, I would like to interject quickly. This is why Americans don't watch F1.
I 100% agree with you.
We've had an hour-long debate about the rules of Formula One. Like, when's the last time we debated the rules of NASCAR, bro? You just go in a circle for 500 laps. You don't do that anymore. But
that was another thing. Red Bull just retire Perez. Do you know why Red Bull retired Perez?
No.
Because they didn't want him to have to unlap himself. It was 1 less car to unlap themselves.
Oh, really?
Right?
Okay.
That's they didn't. There's no why did they retire Perez? Oh no, his car's gonna break. The last race of the season. Why else would they do it, right? As soon as the safety car happens, they're like, Perez, we need to retire. Perez is Perez even says, why? They just retire the car, Perez.
The thing is, in the end, in the end, the right person actually won the championship. Verstappen, in my eyes, performed better throughout the course of the championship. He had more bad luck for the majority of the season. Yes, his racecraft leaves a lot to be considered, but in general, he was the better performer. The Red Bull was better for most of the races, more often than not. And apart from Spa, which is the one where it was all rained off and they gave points anyway. That's the only one where he got some like free points. The rest of them he kind of didn't. I think Silverstone was 50-50 and he should have just backed out of it. If he'd backed out of Silverstone like he should have done, he would have won the championship easily. So that's on him. The rest of the races, like he's gotten unlucky with some of the things that have happened and the lack of points that he's been able to get. So you can't say like, but either of them would have deserved to win it because they were both exemplary, and it doesn't matter ultimately that one won over the other. But for it to end in such a controversial way, with the rules just being completely disregarded at the whim of one person, it pretty much sums up how the entire season went in terms of the stewarding and the rules.
Yeah, it's just terrible because now you can't even be happy for Verstappen because of it. His season will always have a big asterisk next to it.
Yeah.
It's just like, was given the season by FIA, right?
Well, that makes next season all that more exciting, doesn't it? Unless I saw someone say that Hamilton was talking about retiring because
so
got his feelings hurt.
Hamilton handles it actually pretty well post race. He does all the interviews and stuff, and they're happy. I don't think Max and Verstappen did anything wrong this race. The only people at fault are the FIA.
Yeah,
but post race. Mercedes, there's some funny post-race politics stuff. Mercedes like protest that, well, here are all the rules that were broken. Oh yeah, Max went ahead under safety car of Hamilton by like an inch or something, but they just disregarded that. I was like, yeah, whatever. But the main thing they were protesting was the safety car procedure of, you have to... There was some bullshit about they used the word any. I can't remember what the sentence was.
Any car that's been lapped has to unlap itself.
Yeah, it was any lapped car has to unlap itself before the race can start. And Mercedes were like, hey, here's this rule that didn't happen. And then Red Bull counter appealed or whatever with, well, any doesn't mean all. And it's just a good meme. It's just like,
yeah, that's a meme.
It does.
Yeah.
Like,
that is English.
It's absurd. Absurd. The sport is absurd. Not only does it make it, like, I need at least an associate's degree to understand the sport. Like, you can't just turn on Formula One and know what's going on. It's like I could turn on any other sport on the television and like I kind of intrinsically know what's going on by what my eyeballs see. But it's Formula One is so silly. It's such a silly sport.
The thing is,
it's good though. If you like the politics.
You shouldn't need
No, we don't like the politics. This is America. We don't like politics. That's the one thing we all universally hate.
You don't need any of this. Like if the rules are there, obviously like football has all of its intricate rules and all that kind of stuff, but
football's rules are not intricate, okay?
Are we talking about the same football?
Yeah, which football are we talking about?
Oh, soccer, that's not real either.
What I'm saying is like every sport has a set of rules, but the average fan and viewer of the sport doesn't need to know them because they're all enforced by the people out there who are doing a proper job of enforcing it consistently, and the rule is the rule, and that is how it is. Formula One doesn't know what the rules are half the time, so like that's why it becomes such an issue. And it's a joke when that kind of stuff happens, and it's no surprise that nobody people just don't watch it or connect with it in any way.
Yep. But anyway, yeah, post race Mercedes protest a bunch of things. The FIA are like, lol, no, go away. Massey gives a really snide comment to Toto Wolff, who's like the leader of Mercedes. Massey's the leader of the race director. I can't remember what he says on the radio, but he was like, Toto says like, "What was that, Massey?" And Massey says, "A motor race, Toto," or something, right? He finally snaps at him. But yeah, then post race, Mercedes won the constructors championship. They were the fastest team. They just didn't win the drivers championship, which is the only one anyone cares about. Mercedes, after it, basically boycott the FIA. They don't turn up for any photo stuff in all of their race series, which is Formula 1 and Formula E. Formula E had nothing to do with it, but the Formula E team just didn't turn up for all the photo shoot stuff. They just boycotted them. Until something internally has happened. Like Mercedes has obviously gone to the FIA like, yo, we're gonna like leave if you don't do something about this. So the FIA announced a thing where they're like, yeah, okay, we're going to have an internal investigation into it. And one thing that's being pointed out in the announcement and stuff, where like the FIA talk about it, they never mention Michael Massey by name. They just kind of leave him hung out to dry. And everybody is angry at Michael Massey right now. And the FIA is just ignoring his existence.
But they also blame the fans. Like they say, there was clearly a misunderstanding of the rules by the fans, and we need to address this. And it's like, oh my god, my god.
There's just something very frustrating to me about F1. The F1, like, most likely has the most competent motor racing drivers in the world. And then instead of having a level playing field for them all, it's just completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's frustrating to me.
To be fair, they are, like, since the new owners have come in, they are trying to address that with cost caps and things like that. It's going to take some time, but there's brand new...
See, I don't even like that, bro. Like, have one place make all the cars, and they're all the same.
I agree.
That's the thing. That's
called Formula 2.
That's not the DNA of Formula 1, though, is it? You can't do that. You got to let the teams do it themselves.
The thing you're describing exists in many other motorsports.
Yeah.
Like F3, 2, FE. IndyCar.
But they're not the pinnacle of drivers. Like, they're not the best.
IndyCar's okay, right? They're like second.
But the problem is that the new owners are, yes, that's a good thing that they're trying to get them to be more equal, so it's more the driver, but they're also doing more for the entertainment and the Netflix of it all, which has led to seasons like this, where we have rules just thrown out the window. So it's barely a sport at this point when you can just choose whatever rule that you want or throw them out of the window. So
I mean, do the Formula 1 teams at least have like one foundation they have to work on in terms of engine or anything, or do they literally just make...
No, there's all sorts of rules that they have to design within here.
Yeah, but sometimes they don't follow them, Ruffy.
Well, that's true.
And then we don't find out why or how. Or
like Ferrari.
Suddenly Ferrari are just slower one day, and the FIA is like, we came to an agreement. And it's just like, well, what happened? Were they cheating? Were they not? What were they doing? Yeah.
Yeah, it's so, like, I was really disillusioned with Formula. I still am. Like, there's so many other good racing series that are more fun to watch, like IndyCar.
Speaking of, Bruffy, the next topic,
iRacing.
The Mercedes AMG W12E Performance, which is the Mercedes F1 car that was racing this season, is in iRacing. They added it. Mercedes, well, at the start, Mercedes, you know James from Valtteri, it's James.
Yeah.
He got together with iRacing at the beginning of the pandemic and worked with them on making improvements to the sim and adding the current Mercedes and the next year's Mercedes to iRacing.
That's kind of crazy, though, isn't it? Like, that's legit.
Like, it's not like, oh, you can just drive Hamilton's car in Codemasters F1 game. It's like, no. iRacing don't do things like that. They like take actual data from... My throat's given up. They take actual data from the cars. They like laser scan all the cars. They work with the teams to make the cars. These are like real renditions of the cars. And it's in iRacing. And this is like never happened with a current F1 car before, because none of the teams want to share their data with anyone, because the other teams can just steal it all, right?
I guess they don't need to worry about that now, because they're going to be getting new cars.
The new regs, yeah. And they're also hiding a lot of telemetry stuff in the sim, so you can't access it. But yeah, they added the car to iRacing, and it's like absolutely insane that this is even a thing.
I was actually surprised that it was the same price as all the other cars, like just $12. Like, I thought it was going to be like double the price or something like that. Yeah,
there are some downsides. You can't use custom paints, because Mercedes don't want you putting a Red Bull livery on their car, I suppose. You can use the inbuilt paints. Like, you can still color your car like you do, Bruffy. You colored your car like orange and stuff. You can still do that. So everyone's making pseudo Red Bull, Ferrari and stuff liveries, right? But you can't put logos on it, which is fine. Like, I'm okay with these. All the compromises I'm okay with, because we have a real F1 car in iRacing. It's insane. yeah, I've been driving nothing but it. When it came out, I made this setup work.
Just so you could drive
I'm
it.
going to drive this. Yeah. And it's like from gears 1 to 4, if you put your foot down, you'll spin. But if you're not in those gears from like 5 to 8, it's a dream to drive. And
8 gears. That's wild.
And the way my driving style really suits downforce cars, because I'm like the kind of guy that just maintains as much speed as possible through the corner, right? I suck at like sports cars, but downforce cars I'm really good at. I love this car so much. The races haven't gone well for me, because while I feel like I'm good in the car, the people I'm racing against aren't, and are crashing into me a lot. I started at an A license. These numbers won't make any sense for people that don't know iRacing, but I started at an A license 3.75 and 2,200 iRating. Let me open the game. I'm currently at A license like 1 point something.
Holy shit!
I went down to 1.25, and then I like grinded time trials to get it back up.
Don't you get demoted to a B license if you're below 2 at the end of the season?
At 1. Yeah, and if you go below 1, you get instantly.
Wow.
So I would have lost the ability to drive the F1 car. And I currently have 1,813 iRating. I've lost 400 iRating.
Dude, that's a hardcore game. Like, they don't allow you to drive cars if you're not good enough.
Yeah, of course.
In races, like there's certain race series that are locked off to certain safety rating licenses.
Yeah, you start as a rookie and you can only drive like MX-5s and Formula Vs, and then you have to like earn your ability to drive other stuff. Yeah.
Imagine if like Call of Duty did that. Like, no, your accuracy's trash. You don't get to use snipers. Not yet.
Yeah.
You don't get to. No.
That'd be pretty fun. I'd like to see that.
It'd be interesting.
But yeah, so I haven't had the best time in it. But even though I've lost the most iRating and safety rating I've ever lost, I'm still having fun and I'm still just driving it constantly.
I bought it, but I haven't tried it yet. I'll give it a go at some point. But I had to buy it. I bought a lot of cars, but I had to buy that.
Try it round like Spa or Silverstone and see how many corners you can do flat.
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense that you could do them flat.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that's
really
all
good.
we've got to say for this one, since it's 2.25 hours and we've covered everything else.
This will be a good time to announce what you were doing in iRacing, Ruffy, right?
No, what do you mean? What am I doing in iRacing? I haven't said. I haven't said anything specific or agreed to anything yet.
Okay, now would be a good time to do those things. Daytona 24, and every weekend there's a GT3 endurance race, and all this stuff happening.
iRacing's not good for the viewers.
Only need GTA. iRacing doesn't work.
Well, you've done your GTA now, right? The DLC came out and you did it. Now you can go do other things, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's how it works. Yeah, nobody wants GTA from now until the next DLC. Absolutely.
When's G-Fred? Are you going to do random all after this? Why are you talking to these people? When's random all?
Nos is being funny, but I mean, it's true. He's 100% accurate.
Oh, no, it's not funny. I'm smiling, but I'm actually quite depressed. Every time I think about the majority of your viewers, I get very depressed.
That'd be
basically
a good soundbite.
all your viewers who are not here for the podcast make me depressed.
It's the same situation for me. You think I make any money playing iRacing?
No. Like I try not to think about your viewer base because it makes me want to it's really depressing, like majorly depressing. Your viewer base is upsetting.
What are your thoughts on the final F1 race? Wondersniff puts in the chat. I swear to God. Oh my God. Just
a dedicated viewer right there.
Oh, good Lord. It's so triggering.
Have y'all already talked about F1?
I take it we're not having any community questions just for that reason.
Yeah, I don't think I can take any. Honestly, I think it's a good idea, and like I'm at my wit's end this week. This is the end of 4 days of pain.
It's Christmas.
So
what did everyone ask Santa for Christmas?
Nothing.
I was about to lead into something. Hang on.
No, nothing.
Okay. Now lead into the thing you were leading into.
I need $1,000 from Santa. How about that?
notice, bruv, I'm trying to save you here.
I know.
I'm not letting him get on with it. This is like the only time we communicate voice to voice. I have to nag him now. I'm sorry it's right after DLC, but I didn't make the timing for it.
Supposedly the Daytona 24 hours is some point in January, and I have some interest in maybe doing it. That's all I can say at this point.
Okay, but the thing that we need to know, because if you're not interested in doing it, I'm doing it in the LMP2. But if you are going to do it, you're going to want to do it in the GT3, which is totally reasonable, and then I'll drive the GT3, right? But we need to know.
When is it? What's the date?
I posted it in here somewhere. Let me scroll up. The January 21st to 23rd. So we'll probably do the 21st to 22nd. No.
Live from the honeymoon suite.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We'll do 22nd to 23rd. Sorry, Saturday, Sunday.
You see, you can't do 21st to 22nd?
I mean, we could do, but that's like the Australia time zone, right? Like it'll be like really bad time for us.
Okay. It means no podcast in January.
No, I'm sure how many people? 200 people won't mind.
I mean, we didn't have a podcast in November, so I mean...
No, we could do a podcast during the race.
Yes!
Ooh, that'd be fun. We could do live commentary, a special episode.
Yeah, we're not driving all the time. Just have it in the background.
I'll drive in real life. I'll drive in real life during the podcast.
Yeah. All right, fine, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that'll be my first iRacing endurance event as a married man. Hopefully, and we'll do some podcastery during it as well.
And clipping this. Okay,
driving the Lamborghini, right?
Yeah, the Lambo.
Okay.
Yeah. Lamborghini, yeah.
That's the GT3. Even that one, the Mercedes. But
what kind of Lamborghini is
it? Huracan Evo.
Cool.
I actually, I tried all the GT3 cars and many other cars because I actually caught iRacing at a time when it was down.
Nice.
And I figured out the 3 cars. There's 3 cars that I like to drive: the Lamborghini, the Audi, and the McLaren.
The Audi GT3. The Audi is basically the same as the Lambo.
Oh well, that's pretty why then.
They're the same car because they're the same company, right? It's just a different body on them.
But the McLaren was incredible. I think I enjoyed the McLaren the most, honestly.
I think the McLaren has a tendency to kill you.
Oh, really? Okay, that's great news. I bought it anyway, so...
Okay, yeah, people don't... It spits flames out the back, which is really cool. Yeah, I can't remember the details, but it has a tendency to just insta-kill you sometimes for some reason.
All right, 24 hours of Daytona. I'll do it. I mean, it's a race I've always wanted to do, I suppose, so...
Yeah, you just turn left most of the time, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then there's a cool road course in the middle. It's fantastic.
It is a good course. I'm not looking forward to the first corner, though. I don't think I'm going to be able to figure out how to drive the first corner at all.
You just dive in at 400 miles per hour.
You've got 2 options. You can brake on the oval, or you can trail brake down it. And trail braking is obviously faster.
And I'm going to fail that miserably.
Well, the difficult part is deciding what the person in front of you and behind you is going to do.
Yeah, I see. That makes sense.
There's 2 approaches, and nobody can make their mind up.
All right, well, we'll look forward to that.
They'll probably do it different every lap.
Yeah. I mean, we'll try to do something podcasty. Maybe it's something. Even if we don't do a full podcast, we can do something that we'll put up as like a special episode on the channel or something. Just podcasting via racing or something.
Yeah, maybe back to our roots. That's how it all started.
That is how it all started. It was through heisting, wasn't it? Initially on GTA. Yeah. The very first podcast we did, I was doing the Criminal Mastermind Challenge for like 7 hours, and we got podcasting at the time, which was just us chatting, but I mean, it turned into something.
Yeah. Something.
I'm
Something
not-
we got going on here.
I'm not doing timestamps for a whole iRacing 24-hour event.
No, forget that. No. Yeah. Throw that one out. All right.
It'll be, well, if we do it in January, it'll be episode 69 as well.
Nice.
Oh yeah, well,
But would we call it episode 69, or would that just be like special episode like 68 and a half or something? Because it's not a full-fledged episode.
About the inappropriate topics on our 69th episode.
You gotta give me time. I'm single now. Come on, hang on.
Just gotta go on some haunts.
You don't have to be in a relationship to talk about inappropriate.
Listen, man, I just got a VR headset. I'm never leaving the
house. And on that note, we shall all wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a wholesome Christmas for everybody.
Remember this over Christmas.
Yeah. When's this going to go up, actually? Let me see. It'll go up on the 23rd. So, yeah, right before Christmas. That'll be the last thing people hear.
Christmas.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us for this year. We've largely stuck to a schedule of doing one every month, apart from 1 or 2 missed months. But I think we've kept it. We need to bring back the game nights though.
Yeah, I miss those. Those were fun.
But yeah,
Among Us is on Xbox.
But yeah, thank you guys for all being with us. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas or a Happy Holidays to everybody in the podcast and all of you watching as well. And yeah, we'll see you in 2022 in January. We'll get all the updates on what's happening in people's lives, and I'm hoping I'll be married by then. Finally.
Yeah.
Moving on with that life thing.
Yeah. Maybe I'll be next. Maybe I'll be next.
All right. Thank you all, guys. Thank you guys so much. Do you all want to say goodbye, guys?
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
See you all.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
Bye bye.
See you later.